Now, pressure is mounting on Israel to finalize a ceasefire deal before Ramadan. The United States President Joe Biden has hinted that Israel may halt its operations in Gaza if a ceasefire deal being worked on goes through. However, Hamas has refuted these claims as premature, and Qatar, a key negotiator, has refused to confirm any such development. In the latest, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has updated the war cabinet on the next steps in the hostage negotiations. This is according to Netanyahu-led government spokesperson.
We will continue to do everything to release the 134 hostages that are still cruelly held by the Hamas barbaric terrorist organization and return them to their families. Alongside a determined military effort, Israel is in continuous contact with mediating countries to create a framework to release them. Over the weekend, Israel sent a delegation to Paris and subsequently to Doha, and the Prime Minister has updated the war cabinet on the next steps in the negotiations.
Speaking on the Israeli operation in Gaza, the U.S. President Joe Biden appreciated Israel's efforts to evacuate Palestinians from Rafah before it intensifies its operations in the south of the Strip. U.S. President's statement comes after Israeli Prime Minister stated that Israel will only be weeks away from attaining victory if it launches the Rafah offensive. U.S. Security Advisor Jake Sullivan said that the Qatari and Egypt mediators will hold discussions with Hamas to reach a ceasefire deal.
Well, I hope by the beginning of the weekend. The end of the weekend. At least my national security advisor tells me that we're close. We're close. It's not done yet. And my hope is by next Monday we'll have a ceasefire.
One of the key mediators that is negotiating a ceasefire deal between the two factions is Qatar, and it has refused to confirm whether a deal will be finalized by next week or not. Qatar's Foreign Ministry has said that there has been no breakthrough to announce a ceasefire deal, but that Doha was quote-unquote pushing hard for the agreements sketched out in Paris to be accepted by both factions.
We cannot comment on the course of the current negotiations. With regard to the US President's comments, I think it would be better to ask the White House about this. From our side, we don't have any news regarding this matter. The efforts are ongoing, as you all know. The meetings are ongoing and all parties are continuously meeting. But currently, the deadline that has been put, we hope that it was today before tomorrow. However, we have no comment on the deadline.
Currently, Hamas is reading a draft proposal for the Gaza truce talks in Paris. Now, this draft proposal includes a 40-day pause in all military operations. It also includes the exchange of Palestinian prisoners for Israeli hostages at a ratio of 10-1. The draft also states that Hamas would free 40 Israeli hostages in exchange of around 400 Palestinian prisoners. Israel and Hamas are continuing the blame on each other for the delay in a ceasefire. The Hamas chief Ismail Haniyeh met with Qatari Emir Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani and said that his group had embraced efforts to find an end to the war. However, the Hamas official accused Israel of stalling while Gazans die under siege. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has said that Israel was ready for a deal and it was up to Hamas to drop demands he described as from another planet. On the other hand, the United Nations has stated that Israeli forces are systematically preventing civilians from entering Gaza, making it more difficult to provide aid and help in what has turned into a lawless conflict zone. According to the spokesperson for the UN humanitarian agency OCHA, it is getting difficult to evacuate the sick or injured and provide supplies in the northern and southern part of Gaza. World Health Organization states the last aid allowed in Gaza was on 23rd of January. That's more than 1 month ago. Amid the accusations put forward by the United Nations, the United States has announced another $53 million in humanitarian assistance for Palestinians, as the U.S. aid chief pleaded for protections to relief workers in war-ravaged Gaza. Meanwhile, Israel's $500 billion economy has taken a hit during the more than 4 months old war against Hamas in Gaza, during which thousands of people have left the Israeli workforce and gone to serve in the military. This as the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is facing immense pressure from the Israeli public to free the more than 100 hostages who remain in Gaza, which includes the bodies of those believed to be no longer alive.